Give us just a second, guys.
ClueCon Weekly, the FreeSWITCH community's official web show. Tune in every week for updates in the FreeSWITCH project, interesting presentations, and interact with members of the FreeSWITCH community. ClueCon Weekly is brought to you by FreeSWITCH Solutions, the officially endorsed consulting firm of the FreeSWITCH project. FreeSWITCH Solutions solves problems so you can focus on your business. Visit FreeSWITCH.com for more information. The ClueCon WebRTC and Telephony Developers Conference. ClueCon is held every August in the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois. Meet the developers of all your favorite open source telephony projects, make the connections you need to meet your business goals, and see the latest and greatest technology in WebRTC and telephony. Visit ClueCon.com for more details.
All right, guys. Welcome to ClueCon Weekly. Today is February the 10th, and as you can tell, the entire FreeSWITCH team is together in Milwaukee this week, and we're working on what's going on for the next year. So I'm Ken Rice, and we've got Anthony Minasali here. We've got William King, Mike Jarris, and everybody knows Mr. Brian West sitting back here in the back. And we've got Miss Kathleen King coming to us live from the Tacoma, Washington area. How are you doing this morning, Kathleen?
I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah, say hi to everybody. So I'm going to let you kind of kick off here first with the week in review. You want to give us a quick update?
Well, the biggest announcement this week is going to be that registration is open for ClueCon, and not only that, we have the buy now, pay later option available. That was one of the biggest things people requested last year with the attendee feedback. So we have that going. All you have to do is when you register, click the postal option, and that'll send you an invoice later. So you can register now, get your spots in, and you don't have to worry about paying for it right this minute. So that's our big announcement this week.
Yeah, so just to enhance on what Kathleen said just a little bit, when you register with Buy Now, Pay Later, what that will do is instead of getting charged immediately, you will get an invoice that is due July the 8th, I believe. That's a month before ClueCon. So for you guys that have the corporate bean counters to deal with, you can go ahead and get that on your expense reports. And if you're ready to pay that early, you can. But that will be due by the July 8th cutoff. So you are committing. So keep that in mind. So go ahead and get those in now. You can register for whether you're staying at the hotel or whether you're staying elsewhere. You can also go ahead and use that to sign up for the training that will be at ClueCon now also. So get those in. That helps Brian with his counts for ClueCon and making sure we have plenty of lunches and that sort of stuff. So let's get those going. So thank you, Kathleen. Kathleen, was there any commits that you wanted to talk about from the last week or so?
I might be ready for that in just a few minutes. I have to pull it up in front of me. Having a slight technical issue with that. Give me just a second. Do we have any other announcements we want to cover real quick?
Just had technical issues. My laptop decided to completely die on me and freeze up in a weird way. But yeah, so as you can see, we're all here in Milwaukee. We're trying to plan the next big steps in the FreeSWITCH release process, feature set, and kind of, plan that out, because it does take some effort. And in addition, we sit here and work on bugs, JIRAs, anything that comes in that you guys are, alert us to, we try to jump on as soon as possible. And if you noticed, we sent out an email, and I thank everybody that's donated money for the GoFundMe page that helps feed all of us for this week. In addition to Anthony, his wife and his son, William's wife, Kristen, is here. And Sharon is here as well. She's just not in the room right now. But thank everybody for donating to that. That helps keep our costs down, because we are doing all of this ourselves. Is there anything else you don't want to add?
No, I will add that we are still planning ClueCon, and we are working on that a little bit while we're here this week. So you guys that work somewhere that may want to sponsor ClueCon, you guys contact Brian via marketing@cluecon.com and go ahead and let him know that you want to sponsor ClueCon. He will get you all the information you need there and get started on that. It is never too soon to decide you want to sponsor ClueCon. That lets us know a lot of different things, so we can get things like banners and all that other good fun stuff ordered, and we can get you guys on the ClueCon website for your marketing purposes. So you guys let us know about that. So I think we're going to move a little bit here into talking about what we've been working on in FreeSWITCH for the past year. And so there's a lot of stuff that's gone on here. I'm going to start out a little bit with packaging, and then we'll kind of go around the room. So as you guys know, I joined the FreeSWITCH project full-time about 3 years ago now, Tony? 3 or 4 years ago. And one of my goals as coming in was getting packages for some of the various platforms. So we redid the RPMs, and with William's help and some other people's help over the past year, we've greatly expanded what we're doing with the Debian packaging. So now you can pretty much install everything on Debian with some very simple commands. As with anything, there's just kind of been a rocky road. So we're continuing to nail those packages down. But coming up very soon, and Brian is in charge on this, we're going to have to do the configuration. I think it'll be a lot cleaner. So we're going to continue working on that. Anybody that wants to get involved with that, you can email Brian. Or join the FreeSWITCH users list and stick an email out there that you're interested in working on that. Those configs are available via Stash where they sit today, and I think when you look at them, you'll see that it's going to be a lot easier to deal with. Wow! Right.
In addition, what we're doing with the configuration is it's going to be it's kind of split apart right now. We're going to split it apart a little bit more and a lot more logically than we have in the past. In addition, during this process, Kathleen and I are going to be auditing what our defaults are versus what's in the config file. Make sure that the options are all in the configuration, either applied as their default or set up, commented out, so they're at least there in the file. Because I've started yesterday adding more to what is in Stash, and a lot of things are just not clearly outlined in the config files for certain elements. So we're going to audit all that and get that done as well. And if you have feedback on how these configs are coming together, just look in Stash under FreeSWITCH. It'll be FS18 config. Look at that. See what it's not a functional config yet. It's just a skeleton. There's a few config files already transitioned over how I think they need to go. By all means, speak up, let me know what your input is. I think a couple of people on the mailing list have chimed in, validating the files via XLT. I think one of the guys on the list is working with that's an option as well. So please let me know what your thoughts are, if it makes sense to you. We're just trying to make the packaging easier by doing this.
Yeah, I think we're also adding in, and Brian kind of alluded to it a little bit more. It'll be more like your more modern comp.d style configs. So things will make it where if you're just creating a user, you can just drop a new user in, or you need a new extension, you can just drop that in. And so it's not just a new set of configs, but it's also a new framework, for lack of a better description, and directory structure on how those configs go together. So our goal here is to make it a lot easier on everybody to do their configs, but still have some consistency across the board for supportability. And so everybody can help support everybody else, because now we've got a sane way of doing configs that can be common across a lot of different people. And that's, one of the things we're working on now. It's getting real close to that. I think we'll probably see that debut in FreeSWITCH 1.8, which is still, we're working on quite heavily. you guys watch for that. I know a lot of the questions that we get on FreeSWITCH 1.6, everybody keeps thinking that it's for video. And there's a lot of other things that changed in there to help make video possible. But there's some other stuff, Tony, and I want to get you in here, where you changed a lot of things to make that possible and make things easier to do in certain areas, and just did a lot of improvements on that. Can you address that for some of these people so that they can know what else you had to do to make that work?
Yeah, basically every new bug filed since about a year ago has been going into 1.6. So 1.4 only gets back for the things that are serious issues. So say like at first 25% of the bugs were going in to 1.4, and now it's down to like 5%. So if something else, every single bug fix that's happened in the last 6 or 7 months are all working towards 1.6. So the jitter buffer is redesigned, the stability of the codecs and a bunch of negotiation stuff and the core engine. So the video is definitely one of the best bullet points on it, but there's a really long list of bug fixes and other stuff because we're concentrating all of our effort on 1.6, and soon the same will happen with 1.8. And that's basically our release. Our release process is documented on our wiki where you can read it in more detail.
Right, but you mentioned the jitter buffer thing, and I know Brian demonstrated that on the call a month or so ago. That's a huge change there because now we can see stuff where we have a crazy amount of packet loss, like 50, I think 50%, 60%, and the work that Anthony did on that is huge, but nobody really sees that because that's not a big feature. It's one of those things that makes things a lot nicer and mask, just general internet issues. And it's one of the things you really do want, especially with not just with voice, but with video. So it all ties back in together. I know you did a lot of work, and it was partially in 1.4, but also in 1.6 with divorcing the RTP stack from Sophia and that kind of stuff. And I know you've done some more stuff on that, in the past, year or so, really prepping that for 1.6. Is there anything you want to say about that?
Well, basically 1.4 was the first release that so the core media engine is now responsible for media for the Sophia and Roberto, and soon to be any other modules we make that use RTP. And so in 1.4, you had the first cut of WebRTC, which was a moving target the entire duration of the lifespan of 1.4. And there was very primitive video support in 1.4 because it could do some pass-through scenarios, but some of that stuff doesn't work very well with browsers because of the other kind of messages and stuff that are mixed in with the video and WebRTC type connection. So 1.6 is definitely the only one you should use for any kind of WebRTC stuff. It would be just coincidence that it happens to work still on 1.4 because the Chrome is really changing very much.
Yeah, they're and Mozilla also, they're changing stuff. I think we saw that yesterday in the nightly builds where they're changing the JavaScript API.
Yes, the spec was just finalized less than a month ago.
Yeah.
So by the time 1.8 comes out, it might actually be the first release that has like a just stable version of WebRTC that won't be changing constantly, trying to keep up with the clients. We basically we just try it every day, and they just decide whenever it's safe to push to their unstable branch some new way of doing stuff. It breaks everything, and we just change it to keep up. So as a user, you have to kind of stay on the bleeding edge if you want to enjoy your development.
Yeah. You almost want to run master. I know we do.
Anyone doing development on it should always run master. Once you get your product working, you can always go onto one of our stable releases that's the nearest to the one you were using on master. But that's what we also do. We use the Chrome Canary bleeding edge version. By the time FreeSWITCH and Canary are working in unison well, they'll both end up together in a stable release. down the road. So all development should always be on latest code, because you end up playing catch up otherwise.
Yeah, you end up out of sync, unfortunately.
Yeah, even if you're developing on master, you're still playing catch up, but at least it's within reach.
Yeah.
It's not like trying to develop on like 1.2 and then jump all the way to 1.6 or something.
Yeah. So, thanks, Tony, for talking about some of these things. I want to let you sit back and relax for a minute. And one of the things, other things that William has worked on in the past year was mod AMQP. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on in that area. So you want to kind of let everybody know what you've done there, William, and some use cases for that.
Yeah, so mod AMQP specifically is a event bus for routing. So mod AMQP allows you to set up multiple profiles to take classes or a list of FreeSWITCH events and send them over to a particular exchange in AMQP. This is like, for instance, you can subscribe to Sophia register attempts across all of your FreeSWITCH boxes, and then have some little system controlling something like fail to ban or the like. So it gives you access to do events like that. So you can measure where the call is starting and where are they completing. So you can keep those specific class of events for doing dashboards and controls. The second major feature in mod AMQP is FreeSWITCH can subscribe to an API command queue. So you can send commands to all of your production FreeSWITCH boxes, such as a status command. And now, actually just recently in the last month, you can actually tell FreeSWITCH to run an API command and send the response back to a different exchange, so that you can have multiple scripts all sending different API commands and controlling your different FreeSWITCH instances. One other new module that goes along well with that is mod high Redis. So we're able to do interval limits and concurrent call limits with high Redis. So it gives you a little bit better limit control over a wide set of FreeSWITCH cluster boxes. So let's see, was there anything else you can think of?
Not on that, but I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you can do there, and that's some really good stuff. I know I'm not going to, you know, tell everybody what it is yet, but William, I can tell you right now, we were working with William late last night, working on something pretty cool. So you'll want to see that. You'll want to see that later. I don't know, ClueCon. Will it be ready by ClueCon?
Should be.
So you guys keep an eye out for that. There's some cool stuff that William and Tony were working on last night. I think we were at Tony's house till about 1 a.m. working on this. So it's getting there, but it's still a lot of work to be done, and it will be super cool. I know a lot of people will enjoy it when it comes out, especially you know, guys that are using
large clusters of FreeSWITCH.
Large clusters of FreeSWITCH and doing lots of call volume. It'll be really, really, really cool. So keep an eye out for that. Actually, I want to go to Kathleen for just a minute. Kathleen, can I got a question for you.
Okay.
You kind of come on board with us in the last year or so, working with a lot of the social media stuff. Can you tell us what you've been working on? And we'll take a break from the technical for just a second, and let everybody know how they can help you and find out what you're working on a regular basis.
Well, the biggest thing we can do is get people to sort of follow us on Facebook, like us on Twitter, things like that. The more you get involved and the more the community connects through the social media, the better our announcements, the better we can disseminate information. You can find out what's going on with FreeSWITCH and know up to the minute what changes we're going to make and sort of why we're going to make them or things like that. We also really appreciate feedback. I know I sent out, you know, some calls here and there to get some feedback from the community, but, you know, if you want to see some changes or if you want to see, you know, more of something, please let us know. If you send me an email at Kathleen@freeswitch.org or Ken, I think it's krice@freeswitch.org. they can get in there, or we can get in there and sort of see what we can do about improving the communication and the activities and things. For example, last year with ClueCon, we sent out a little survey to everybody, and we got some great feedback, and that's why we have the buy now, pay later. That's something people wanted to see, and we were able to accommodate them there. We also, with the hackathon, we have some awesome new stuff happening with the hackathon, and I think it's going to be really fun. We've got a lot of great activities coming up, and we're having fun putting them together. So, you know, the more support and the more communication we get from the community, the better we can make things and sort of keep FreeSWITCH awesome and you know, let people see what they want to see. So so it's good.
Cool. So
Yeah.
I've got a question for you. I know a lot of people are interested in some of the stuff that's coming up at ClueCon, and I know you're tweeting about that, you know, on the ClueCon Twitter account. But is there some way they can go to see some of the new news stories and even some of the old news stories about what's coming up on at ClueCon this year that we've already got planned and some of the stuff that we're working on?
Well, we do have ClueCon.com. We've got the news section, and we try and update and keep that kind of going as things come out. We also, I don't know if anybody has sort of played it up enough, but we've got a video page now on the ClueCon.com website, and so we're going to start putting fun videos there, the ClueCon weekly videos, and sort of some cool little clips of things as, you know, we get closer to ClueCon and as we get more excited about it. So those are a couple of ways.
Cool. So yeah, so you guys check those out and everything. You'll get to see all the good info as far as what's coming up at ClueCon. And if you think you missed an announcement, go to the ClueCon page, click the news link, and you guys can follow that. So now I think we're going to move back a little bit to the technical things. And for you guys that are joining us today, y'all give us a few minutes. We're going to open up the floor for questions. This is your one chance to ask a question of the entire dev team while we're all in one location, for real. I know, Mr. Jarris, I'm fixing to throw you under the bus here. So with 1.6, we pulled a lot of libraries out of Tree. And when we did that, caused a little bit of issues with one of the platforms, namely Windows. Can you talk a little bit about what it took to bring Windows up to date? And I know we can build like on Visual Studio 2015 now.
Yeah, so one of the things we did do as part of reworking the Windows build was to switch it to use Visual Studio 2015 only. That's going to give us some advantages. Visual Studio 2015 fixed a number of shortcomings in C-spec conformance that previous versions of Visual Studio had, so it's going to open us up to more possibilities. But we are working on that as time goes by. And another thing that we are working on is switching some of the libraries to use NuGet or Nugget packages, which will decrease build time. It's going to let you use pre-built binaries for a number of things. So there's a number of pieces working there. I do actually need help with that. If there's anyone who's willing to chip in, send me pull requests, discuss with me what needs to get done, I'd really appreciate that, because it's very time intensive to get that where it needs to be. Along with Windows, like Ken said, we've been removing a number of libraries from Tree. Most of that is to take advantage of distros that already support these libraries, so we don't have the entire overhead of supporting the libraries, but also eventually to meet distro packaging requirements so we can get into the distros. So another operating system we've done a ton of work on is OS X. And we have everything but FreeSWITCH itself now building out of Homebrew. So all of the dependencies, there's one line you paste in, and Homebrew will install all of the dependencies. FreeSWITCH 1.4 does have a Homebrew package, and it is on the plate to get a FreeSWITCH 1.6 Homebrew package working as well. So slowly but surely, these things are getting done. And I guess just on FreeSWITCH on Twitter. Along with that, as we were talking earlier, we do have Debian packages for Jesse and to a lesser extent Wheezy. We do have CentOS 7 packages, and do we have something else to announce that we're going to be working on?
We have a bunch of packages in the pipeline, so we're going to need the community to step up. I mean, we've hinted at this a little bit last week. And so the community, if you could step up, you know, and give us feedback and help us test that as we progress over the next few months of getting that particular thing out the door, it'd be greatly appreciated.
Yeah. You don't need to know about how to build Debian packages. We need people to be able to use FreeSWITCH and make video test calls, test it with your different devices, etc. We've got the packaging side for the most part. We just need users to be able to test it in what we expect, at least at first, to be a known broken state while we get everything finalized.
Yeah, that means once these packages are done, in theory, you should be able to take your existing configs, drop them in, provided they're for 1.6 or for the current version, and the end goal being that you can move between the platforms. So if you've got a working config, and you, say on Debian 8, and once the Ubuntu packages are released, in theory, you should be able to just take your etc FreeSWITCH directory, for the most part, and drop it in, and then test all that functionality. And then that testing and feedback from a wide audience allows us to find those bugs that could be platform specific. So we can address those things either with upstreams where required, or if it's something that we're doing that we need to adjust, we can make those adjustments and keep everything consistent. So anybody that wants to help out with that, you drop us a note on the users list. We do monitor that and respond to emails there on a regular basis. So you guys let us know that and join in and help. Also, just when you're doing testing like that, just filing a JIRA with all the proper details helps us get those bugs quashed quickly. And so you guys can help out a lot there. It's immensely useful to getting all the good details. You know, JIRA tickets with FreeSWITCH crash are not very useful. JIRA tickets with FreeSWITCH crash while doing this, and here's a backtrace and all the good details.
And I can replicate it on demand.
Yep. And here's how to replicate it every time. That goes a long way into making it where the team can find those bugs, isolate it down in the code, and get it resolved relatively quickly. So help us out with that kind of thing. Let's see here. Anybody else? Anybody have anything else that we're leaving out so far that we might want to touch on last year? I know we talked a lot about video. We got video playback, video recording, video music on hold, video eavesdrop, video voicemail, video IVR, desktop sharing, OpenCV, overlays in the MCU, new jitter buffering, new packet loss concealment, echo canceling is really done on the client side, but let's see here. Verto Communicator, the new web UI for using the conference. Let's see here. I'm probably leaving out a whole ton of things that we've done in the past year. OpenCV, Open Computer Vision.
Mod SMPP.
Mod SMPP for doing SMS directly to SMPP. There's just a ton of stuff, guys, and we can't do it without you guys helping us test. And we definitely, I can't name everybody, but we definitely this wouldn't be possible with the sponsors that sponsor us every day.
I would also like to personally thank Giovanni and Italo for helping out. They're tremendous help to the project. Boatman on the docks, John is his name. Very, very helpful on that. Seven Do is another one. He's been very helpful as well in some of the complex codec stuff we've been working with. I thank all of them for getting involved, and I do apologize if I left anybody out. We thank everybody that helps out.
Yeah, Chris.
Greatly appreciated.
Yeah, Chris Rienzo for helping with the
Rienzo,
RPM packages and getting those updated for 1.6. And just staying on top of stuff. Chris also maintains Mod Radio, which works really good for the adhesion users out there. So there's just a lot of guys like that that help us out on a regular basis. So we want to say thanks to all you guys. Thanks to everybody that has donated so we can have dinner tonight.
Yes, definitely. And you can still go donate. It's gofundme.com/FreeSWITCH if you want to donate.
Now, let's see here. Mr. Jarris, you want to switch the layout to 1UP plus whatever? And then we're going to open the floor here, guys. I know we've got several people sitting in the bridge. And if anybody has any questions, now's a good time. We've got Tony, Mike, Brian, William, and myself here. And we've got Kathleen from remote. Now's a good time to ask those questions. Who's got a question for us? Oh, come on, guys. There's a bunch of y'all in the room. I see you. Let's see here.
It's me. Sorry, hold on.
I got it. All right. Sorry. All right, no questions? Did we cover everything? All right, then. So, hey, Chris, how you doing? Thank you. I see you sitting there. That's Chris Rienzo, guys, in the upper right corner there.
He's at work.
He's at work, yep. We got Giovanni there in the lower left corner. As you guys actually, Giovanni, I want to point one thing out that he's working on right now, and that is a new book. So keep an eye out for that. We're probably a few months out on that. But big ups to Giovanni for that. He has he spends a lot of time working on docs and the books, and I know he loves it when guys sign up for the docs list and help update the wiki. At freeswitch.org/confluence. So you guys jump in there and help him out.
Yeah, side benefit. If you join the docs team and you actually start helping out with the wiki, the dev team likes to answer your questions and give you specific examples. So if you've got an issue and you're willing to trade some doc time, you can usually find a dev who's willing to answer specific technical questions in exchange for you going and updating it on the wiki.
That might be a way to get some free help from a dev. But it's not really free because you got to pay the wiki tax then. But yeah, definitely, guys. So all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up then. Don't forget, ClueCon is coming up in August. Registration is open. We will be doing the call for speakers very shortly, so keep an eye out for that. Next week, Kathleen, who do we have on the schedule?
We have Jun Sun from NetSpectrum. That should be pretty cool.
That should be really pretty cool. I know we got some other people coming up in the near future also. Last week we had Simon Woodhead, so if you want to see our videos, look down at the bottom of the screen here on the YouTube feed. There is that big subscribe button. Go ahead and click there, and you'll get access to the FreeSWITCH channel. Also, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, join the mailing list, join us on IRC, go to freeswitch.org, hit the big Chat with Us Now link right there on the homepage, join us on HipChat. We hang out there all the time along with a bunch of other users. You can also find us on Freenode, #FreeSWITCH, if you like IRC. And we are going to be around. We've been here for, this is our 11th year of FreeSWITCH. And this will be the 12th ClueCon, if I've got that right. So you guys join us. Keep an eye out for all the new exciting announcements. And we'll be back here next week. All right, guys, thank you very much. Y'all have a good week.